Hello, welcome to another episode, or to my channel, An American Update. I'm Edgar Montoya. I'd like to talk to you about my book. As you can see, I'm Edgar Montoya here. This book that I wrote and published over 3 years ago now, in January of 2018. I'm an English and Spanish teacher by trade, and I love to teach language and study language and learn. I love the topic of language. And this book is about sayings. We have in America phrases, idioms. An idiom is a phrase that can be interpreted, has both a figurative and literal interpretation. And I did pretty well, fairly well with this book back then in sales, and including selling a few copies in Europe and a couple copies in Japan. I'd like to give it a new promotional push. And because I've never promoted, I've not promoted it on my channel here on YouTube. So I thought it's time to talk a little bit about it. So let me talk about what's in it a little bit. Give you some examples of some phrases you'll find in here. And first of all, let me say this book is primarily for ESL students, students of English as a second language, as a foreign language. But it's a good book, I think, for any English speaker, anybody who likes language. Something for everybody to learn. It's a fun book. It's looking at the fun side of English. So I would recommend, especially if you know people who are second language learners of English, you might like to buy a copy for them. It's available on Amazon, before I forget saying that. You can find this on Amazon. Let me give you a few phrases that you could find in here. Talk a little bit about them. Give it to you in a little nutshell. For example, we say in America, say once in a blue moon. I know many of you don't know what a blue moon is. In the rare month when you have a second full moon in a month, that second full moon is called a blue moon. So for example, if somebody asks you, you ever drink beer? Well, once in a blue moon. It's seldom, it's rarely, but you do. Keep your chin up. I'm also going to talk about this, I also talk in this book about idioms from other countries and other languages and the American equivalents we have. Keep your chin up is be bold, be strong, look up. And the British would say keep a stiff upper lip. Another one is, although maybe a little dated, say to call somebody's the toast of the town. He's the great hero, the one who's being proclaimed and hailed. Right? There's the funny thing with the word toast. You can be the toast of the town, but you could also be toast, which is not a good thing. You've been burnt. The phrase ride shotgun. I don't know if you know where that comes from. When you ride as the passenger seat on the front seat of a car. In the old days, in the stagecoach days, as money was being transported along with passengers, you'd have the man driving, controlling at the reins of the horses, and a man sitting at his side with a shotgun. Because in those days, stagecoaches were often robbed. So he was the security man. That's what we mean when we talk about riding shotgun. Who let the cat out of the bag? That's another one. In the old days, in the medieval days, in the marketplaces where people were buying and selling things, let's say somebody bought a pig. A vendor may cheat. He may cheat the customer sometimes. Instead of putting a pig in the bag, he'll put a cat. Now, that puzzled me, always hard to understand. How there's a difference between putting a pig and a cat in a bag. Either one you put in is going to make a noise, and the cat makes a different kind of noise. He'll try to scratch his way out of the bag, too. So that's referring to fraud, but today we use let the cat out of the bag is to let out the secret, right? The cat is the secret, right? A clean bill of health is another one that comes from old times, from old days past. That would be when a ship would sail from port to port. It would stop at a port, it would be checked out, be investigated to check that there's no diseases, no viruses, infections. Be timely, talk about viruses today. If the ship passed inspection and also has proof that in that port there would have been no infection, because it would need that certificate of proof going to the next port to be allowed entry. It would be proof that the ship was fine, that the last port it sailed from was fine as well, that it was clean. Talk about the clean bill of health. There are some I have, a couple from the Bible. I like phrases that come from the Bible, references. There's forbidden fruit. For example, to a teenager, the liquor in his father's cabinet would be forbidden fruit. And also to wash my hands. I wash my hands and I absolve myself of any responsibility in a certain issue. That comes, of course, from the governor of Judea, Pontius Pilate, washing his hands, absolving himself of any responsibility in the trial of Christ, freeing himself of being responsible for the fate of Jesus Christ. Then I go on to a chapter on comparing foreign idioms with American ones. For example, in Spanish, as in English, we say something cost me an arm and a leg, it was very expensive. In Spanish, you would say, me costó un ojo de la cara. It cost me an eye out of my face. Okay. Maybe cheaper than English. In Serbian, you have one says, no son para oblake. He's ripping clouds with his nose. In other words, what that's saying there is that, well, somebody's conceited, is arrogant. We may say in English, somebody has their nose in the air. In Italian, we say, in bocca al lupo, into the mouth of the wolf. This is like, in English, it's considered bad luck to wish something in a show performance or in something they're going to do, sometimes, mostly in Hollywood, and in a performance. To wish them good luck, so you say, what do you say to them when we say, hey, break a leg? In Italian as well, you have to say, in bocca al lupo, into the mouth of the wolf. And you don't answer with thank you. You're supposed to say, may the wolf die. One in Japanese I have, kuchi ga karui. It means light mouth. Or as in English we say when somebody's too loose with their lips, they can't keep a secret, right? In Japanese you're saying somebody is talks. You can't trust the person to keep a secret. Then I have a section that goes on to some essays where I reflect on my thoughts and opinions on the English language, changes in language. I have an essay on Spanglish, which is the mixture of Spanish and English and how it has affected both Spanish and English. I have another chapter on changes in English language, both bad and not so bad. By bad, I mean, for example, when people say such things as irregardless, the word irregardless, which I never heard when I was growing up. People always said regardless. You understood that irregardless was not a word. Yep. In case you didn't know that, people constantly say irregardless. Okay. Other examples, when people say my bad. When I first heard that, I heard that from years ago. I taught elementary school. A fifth grader said my bad, and I understood what he meant, but I was tempted to say, well, my bad what? That's in reference to something, my bad, followed by a noun. But no, it just means my mistake, of course. When people say, don't go there, it's another one I talk about. Pet peeves I have, for example, the word, because basically a really is a short way of saying to somebody often, you cannot possibly be that stupid, you cannot be that arrogant. Did you really do that? And then there's a lot of young people say too, but I know from older people as well, they say, whatever. Okay. For me, my take has always been whenever somebody says whatever to you, you've won the argument. Okay, they've lost. I have a funny take on that. I discuss that one at length. I also have another essay where I discuss about what to say when, for example, you go to a Starbucks or somewhere and you ask for an iced drink and they serve you too much ice. I have a funny take on that one too. What should you say and what I feel like saying to baristas when they serve me too much ice in a drink. That's a pretty good one. I discuss sports idioms as well. I love the subject. We love the subject of sports, and I discuss a little what it means. The ball is in your court. It's your responsibility. Okay, it's your turn. It's your move. Well, that comes from basketball or volleyball. To call the shots. I'm the boss. I'm the manager. I call the shots. It's my decision. I make the decisions. That comes from billiards. Right? To get into full swing. If you've been sick or you're coming back from surgery and you're slowly coming back to your normal self, you're getting back into the swing of things, or you're getting a business off the ground, getting the business into full swing. It's starting to move now, right? And that comes from comes from golf. Some words such as, I make a comparison, I discuss the difference between further and farther, that people make a mistake in that. Phrases, some more bad phrases or wrong phrases that people make a mistake with, but they commonly use, such as when they say, I could care less. No, folks, hate to be grammar cop, but that's supposed to be, I couldn't care less. You stop and think what it means when you say, I could care less. It means you haven't reached the limit of your point of not caring. Okay, you care. You're saying there you care a little bit still, but it's best to say, I couldn't care less. I could not care less than I possibly do. Okay, I care zero about something. Redundancies that we use in English, such as free gift. If something's not free, it's not a gift. Another one is say the exact same. I have the exact same watch you do. You don't have to say exact. I have the same watch you do. Tuna fish. That's a pet peeve for me. Tuna fish. We don't say cow beef. We don't say chicken poultry. But we say tuna fish. A tuna fish sandwich. That's another one. I did not hear that. I did not hear tuna fish growing up. But we started to say that one in recent years for some reason. Okay, well, like I said, I can have fun with language too, but some things just, well, everybody's got their pet peeves. As an English teacher, I guess those are some of mine. Okay. My next to last chapter, I discuss about movie lines. I love movies, and so do many of you. A lot of people, and some movie lines are memorable. And I discuss those movie lines and what they mean to us, and the significance in language, such as from The Godfather, I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. People may use that in business sometimes jokingly. Another one, did you know that from Gone with the Wind, that Red Butler's last line, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. The censors didn't like that one, because in those days, back in 1939, damn was not an acceptable word, right? It was like the F word today. But today in movies, anything does go, just about in almost any movie. The F word is, they use it freely. Still can't use it on TV though, but we'll see one day. One final one that I like from, let me see if you guess what it is. It's what we do in life echoes in eternity. Anybody know where that came from? That came from The Gladiator. Right? I like that one. What we do in life echoes in eternity. And then I have a section 2 finally ending on trivia. I have a lot of trivia facts in there, a whole bunch. I'll give you one. Did you know that Spanish and Japanese have the same word for bread? Pan. And one more. The Bible is the most written book or story it's written in the most languages in the world. Do you know the second most? Well, as of the writing of this book at that time, the next book written in the most languages throughout the world is Pinocchio. Well, folks, thanks for listening. I hope you'd like to maybe purchase a book for yourself or for somebody you know who speaks English as a second language. It's a lighthearted, fun look at English and discussing other languages too. And I think it's a book you would enjoy, English Made in America, available on Amazon. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye-bye.